The morning I ran away, I was 18 years old, and I had exactly $42 in my pocket. My name is Maya. I have dark eyes, short nails from biting them, and a birthmark the shape of a small star just below my left ear. My mother calls it beautiful. My mother also calls my dreams too big and my plans not realistic. She has a lot of opinions about me. That was part of the problem. I didn't run away from danger. I want to be clear about that. I ran away from a life that was being built for me, brick by brick, without anyone asking if I wanted to live in it. It had been building for months. The college applications my mother filled out without me. The accounting program she had already chosen. The map of my next 4 years laid out on the kitchen table one Sunday morning, neat and organized like she was planning a garden. "This is a good path," she said. "Stable, secure." "I don't want stable," I said. She looked at me the way she always did when I said something she didn't understand, like I had spoken in a language she had never learned. "You don't know what you want," she said gently. That was the worst part. She said it gently, like I was still a child who didn't know that fire was hot. I was 18. I had known for 2 years that I wanted to study photography. I had 3 notebooks full of ideas. I had saved up money from my job at the coffee shop for a camera. I bought myself a real one, not a phone camera, and I kept it hidden under my bed because every time my mother saw it, she sighed. That sigh, I heard it in my sleep. The night before I left, she moved the camera from under my bed and put it on my desk. I don't know why. Maybe she was cleaning. Maybe it was a message. But when I saw it sitting there in the open, something shifted inside me. I picked it up, I held it. I looked at it for a long time. Then I packed a bag. I took the early bus out of town. The sky was still dark, just starting to go purple at the edges. I sat in the back and pressed my face against the cold window and watched the streetlights blur past. I didn't have a big plan, just a direction. 3 hours away, there was a small city called Delwood. I had read about it online. It had an open art market on weekends, a community photography studio where you could rent time and equipment cheap, and a youth hostel that cost $18 a night. I had done the math. With $42, I had 2 nights to figure something out. It wasn't much, but it was mine. Delwood was smaller than I expected and bigger than I needed. I found the hostel on a narrow street lined with painted telephone poles. The woman at the front desk had silver rings on every finger and didn't ask me many questions. She gave me a bed by the window in a room with 3 other girls. The girl in the bed next to mine was named Sasha. She was 20, from somewhere out west, and she was traveling alone through the country with a backpack and a sketchbook. She drew portraits of strangers in coffee shops and sold them. "Does it work?" I asked her. "Can you actually live like that?" She shrugged. "Some weeks, yes. Some weeks I eat a lot of crackers," she smiled. "But I'm doing it. That's the thing. I'm actually doing it." I thought about that for a long time after she fell asleep. I'm actually doing it. The next morning, I woke up before everyone else. I took my camera and walked out into the city as the sun came up. The streets were quiet and golden. A man was setting up a flower stand on the corner. A cat sat on a windowsill and washed its face. An old woman walked slowly down the middle of the sidewalk in a bright red coat, not hurrying for anything or anyone. I lifted my camera. I took pictures for 2 hours without stopping. I photographed the flower man's hands. I photographed the light on the wet pavement. I photographed a little girl eating a piece of toast in an upstairs window while looking down at the street below. I photographed a crack in a wall that had a tiny green plant growing out of it. When I looked through the viewfinder, the world organized itself. Everything had shape and meaning. My hands were steady. My mind was quiet. This was what I had been trying to explain to my mother. Not just that I liked taking pictures. It was that when I was doing this, I was completely myself. No doubts, no noise. Just me and the light and whatever was in front of me. How do you explain that to someone who has never felt it? On my second day, I found the community studio. A man named Derek ran it. He was maybe 40, with paint on his sneakers and a voice like gravel. He let me look around. There was a dark room, 3 workstations with editing software, and a wall covered with photos taken by people who had passed through. I stood at that wall for a long time. The photos were all different. Portraits, landscapes, street scenes, abstract shapes made of shadows. Some were taken on expensive equipment. Some were blurry and raw and beautiful in a broken kind of way. Every single one had been made by someone who decided to make it. You can submit work for the weekend market. Derek said behind me. If it sells, you keep 70%. I turned around. Really? Really. He looked at my camera. You shoot film or digital? Digital, mostly. Print 3 photos, 8 by 10. Bring them Saturday morning. I called my mother that night. I didn't tell her where I was, not yet. But I told her I was safe, and I told her I needed a few days. She cried, not loud crying, the quiet kind, where you can just hear the breathing change. It pulled at something deep in my chest. I'm not running from you, I said. I'm running toward something. Silence. I know you want a good life for me, I said. I know that's all you've ever wanted, but I need to be the one to choose what good means. More silence. Then, are you eating? I almost laughed. Yes, Mom, I'm eating. Okay, she said quietly. Just that. Okay, it was small, but it felt like a door opening, just a crack and cool air coming through. On Saturday morning, I printed 3 photographs at the studio and brought them to the market. By noon, 2 of them had sold. I stood there holding $38 and I thought, this is real. This is actually real. It wasn't enough to live on, not yet. I had 100 things still to figure out. I didn't know where I would sleep next week or how I would pay for more printing or how to make my mother understand. But I had made something with my own hands. I had taken it somewhere. Someone had looked at it and said, yes, I want this. That felt like the beginning of everything. I raised my camera and took a picture of the street in front of me. People moving in every direction, going toward their own lives, their own choices, their own versions of free. Then I started walking. I didn't know exactly where I was going, but for the first time in a long time, I was the one deciding. And that made all the difference. Sometimes the hardest thing in life is choosing your own path, especially when the people you love cannot understand it. Maya's journey was not just about running away. It was about finding herself, following her passion, and learning that freedom begins the moment you start making your own choices. Have you ever felt trapped between your dreams and other people's expectations? Let me know in the comments below. And remember, your dreams matter too. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.